Hey everyone, Glenn Sanford here. Obviously, founder of eXp Realty, but we've got new agents. I actually, from time to time, people don't recognize me, so I figured I'll just throw that out there for anybody who's in the eXp ecosystem and we haven't met yet. But today, I'm super excited to talk with Lance Custen. He is the
Everyone,
CEO and founder of Realty.com, and Lance and I met, I think, for the first time almost a year ago. I think it was December 4th or
Yep.
something like that in Orlando. And we then continued to kind of have some discussions in January. I think by about February or March, we actually announced our partnership with Realty.com, which has been going phenomenal. Obviously, we've got a lot of agents who are huge fans of Realty.com, but wanted to kind of check in with you, Lance. How have things been going? Where are things at? What markets are open? And maybe we'll talk a little bit about maybe even best practices and that type of thing for those who want to go this route of lead gen.
Yeah, definitely. Glenn, thank you for having me and happy holidays to you and everyone else. And yeah, we're almost at our 1 year anniversary of meeting and forming this partnership. And it's been amazing being an EXP agent and EXP partner and everything. It's just been a great ecosystem to work in with everyone here at EXP. So basically, things have been going really well. We have a lot of agents on the platform that are doing really well, and since we've started with EXP, we brought on full coaches, we've brought on full lead assist ISA, and we've really doubled down on creating customer success and creating an ecosystem where an agent could come in and they might not be fully experienced on digital lead gen or lead conversion or speed to lead or any of that, and we'll take them from that agent that's just learning about how to produce an online lead or how to work an online lead or how to work a cash seller lead all the way to a successful agent closing deals. And that's kind of our philosophy now is, having one agent per website for realty.com. It really makes it that we're able to focus on that agent and have them succeed.
Awesome. And I know you've got, a ton of success stories. I mean, obviously there's some big teams that are really using the Realty.com platform at a really high level. I know Cliff Freeman, Veronica Figueroa, I think Kyle Whistle. I'm not sure all the folks that are using it, but some of the largest teams in EXP, this is a significant part of their lead gen efforts.
Correct. Yeah. Veronica Figueroa is one of the closest ones I have communication with probably every week. And I know I'm her highest appointment source. I know that we close, more deals for her than any of our other bigger lead sources. And then, I will have, Cliff Freeman, we talk, probably bi-weekly about stuff, and working with the large EXP teams, it gives me visibility into the whole ecosystem of how to help the largest agent to the largest team. And, EXP is a perfect fit for our product and these large teams.
Now, one thing I know you've had also, uh, I'll say it, I'm saying with all respect to the agents, but we have had agents who would sign up and then they were not either really like internet leads are not their forte and they don't really bring the DNA or the focus necessary. And so there's been some churn, some turnover. And I've even got some complaints from some of these newer agents. So I think one of the things we should talk about is what's the ideal agent candidate to work these leads. And in my opinion, it's maybe 5 to 10% of agents in the market really have the work ethic and the diligence of follow up necessary to really be super successful with leads. I mean, obviously, we're all building our businesses and we're at different levels and of production at the agent side. But what would be your ideal avatar of an agent to have success with Realty.com?
Yeah, definitely. So we've had some churn from some agents that don't understand expectations. What our salespeople say and our onboarding and our coaches and everyone is we really stress that conversion takes time, especially in this market with people waiting for interest rates to go down or people waiting for the market to crash. All hypothetical scenarios that nobody knows what's going to happen because we're not going to, we might not have a market crash. We might not have interest rates go down or interest rates can go down and home prices can go down. So there's a lot of people where the psychology of a lead right now is that you really got to be able to sell here and now, and this is what you guys want to do, but you also got to be able to nurture a lead. The average lead right now takes between 6 to 12 months to close. And it's the agents that understand building a pipeline, building a foundation, building relationships with customers, and knowing that if you sign up, that you can't pay your bills in month 2 with profits from month 1, that it's really a runway you're setting up. It's a business you're setting up. It's coaching, it's ISA, it's call support. It's even, we're doing now helping with attraction. We're doing retraction coaching, retraction training, and doing a product called Realty Staffing, where we're actually starting to get send pre-scrubbed candidates directly to EXP agents. And with everything we're doing is that we're helping you become better agents. But our perfect avatar is someone that understands commitment, someone that understands that they need to take accountability, and someone who just picks up the phone. Our average pickup rate for some agents is under 50%. And that's agents with their hand in the air, clients with their hand in the air saying, hey, I want to talk to an agent. I've answered 14 questions from the Realty.com ISA team. I'm ready to speak to someone. I'm ready to look at a home. I'm ready to get a cash offer on my home. I'm ready to meet with a listing agent. And 50% of the time, a lot of these agents don't even pick up the call when the phone's ringing from their blast lines.
Right. And I mean, you and I've chatted, but I mean, some of them are like not picking up the phone at all. Like 50% would be would be a good response rate for a lot of agents out there. Obviously, one of the things I always play with is the idea that if you're an active, busy agent, the hardest thing to do is pick up the phone. So what would be the best way to create an analog? Let's say I'm out showing clients, I'm with clients, I'm in a situation where I can't pick up the phone. What would be some coaching around the best way to follow up, or how to sort of set the expectation with through either the ISA or agreements between the ISA and the agent, so that those leads that can't get picked up in real time still can be converted into clients?
We send an email that shows that we spoke to the agent, and we give detailed notes, and it's just the follow-up from the agent. We try to set a callback time. We try to set additional parameters around it, or use it for attraction. If you've got 30, 40 calls coming in a month from Realty.com and you can't pick them up, go attract a new agent and be like, here, do you want to take these warm transfers, split the commissions with me, and build your team, build your downline, build whatever you got to build, because you've got people looking for homes. And if you can't service them, bring in people who can.
Right. Great point. When I was building my real estate team, I ended up obviously a big internet lead gen guy. Generated over 100,000 leads in my career, and so leads can very well be a way to build your team and build leverage into your business. Now, the typical or the average lead converts in 6 to 12 months. I think that's what you were saying. So when an agent does sign up with Realty.com, um, what type of budget do you think about? I think is it I think it's zip code based or neighborhood based. I'm not sure exactly how it's broken down, but how should an agent think about their budget before they start to see an ROI?
So I always say that we started about $600 a month, and we go all the way up to some of the mega teams are at $30,000, $40,000 a month. So I say somewhere, if you're a smaller agent with 1 to 3 people, start around, let's say 1,500 a month, but budget 10,000 before you see your first closing. So
Okay,
your first closing, ramp it up. Yeah.
And then once you get your first closing, let's say that you've budgeted that 10,000. Let's say the commission is 10,000. Half of that maybe comes back to you as the team leader, maybe a little bit more because they're coming from for all intents and purposes, a third party lead source. So you can sort of offset, but then your closing should start to layer on each other. So the idea is that once you've got your first closing in the hopper, very shortly thereafter, maybe the next 30, 40 days, you should have another closing. And then eventually you'll have 2 closings. And then eventually you'll increase your budget and you'll have 3 closings. So it's kind of one of these things. It's like a business that you're investing in the early stages. In most businesses, don't break even for multiples of years. but here's a lead source that you can run as a part of your business, a business inside your business that should be positive cash flow in 6 to 12 months, if not sooner, depending on the lead mix, et cetera, that comes your way, and how seriously you take the lead flow.
Yeah. And I see, Glenn, and that's true. I see people all day not picking up $2, $3 million listing appointments, or people looking for cash offers and different things like that. And it's all accountability and responsibility. And if you 6 to 12 months in, you should be closing deals every single month. And a great example is Joseph Kipping out in Tampa. He's an EXP team out there. He started as a husband and wife team, and he's closing 10, 15 deals a month from us right now. And he's great. He'll help and coach anyone on the platform, because he built his whole business on Realty.com. So anyone can reach out to him for help. But it's really, you're buying into a business. And as we grow, we're going to start nationally advertising. And the people who are locked in with Realty.com, their prices are kind of going to stay basically the same as we grow. And we're running national ads. Your lead flow is going to go up. Your engagement's going to go up. Everything's going to go up. And more clients are asking to be on the Realty platform, even though we're sold out, Glenn. So we've opened up the listing.com platform. And with listing.com, it's very similar to Realty.com, just non-exclusive, but it's the same coaching, the same training, the same ISA, and a lot of the same ecosystem stuff for EXP agents, just without the display. So it's a very similar product that makes it so all EXP agents can come on the platform. And that starts at a flat fee of $600 a month for the smallest package, and goes up to about $5,000 a month. And then Realty.ca launched in Canada, and we've officially went live about a week ago. Thank you for all the help from EXP. And then Realty.ca is our Canadian enterprise, and that's got agents going live all over Canada over the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Obviously we've got 75,000 plus or minus agents in the US. We've got 6,000 and change, maybe a little bit more up in Canada. I mean, we're a big enterprise of agents. I think about the city I live in, we have less people that live in the city, and it's a pretty good sized city than is in all of EXP. And so there's literally, 1,000, 2,000 different types of businesses that agents can run, and embracing the Realty.com is just one segment, but it could be an important segment in the market. One of the things obviously we did, which was unique, back when we put this deal together, is we put together pricing that nobody else in the industry gets.
Yep.
So EXP agents get the Realty.com platform less expensively, but then also the add-ons and other things that can get that in the mix beyond the standard lead gen. Those then are also exclusive to EXP Realty. So we have a lot of really cool stuff, and many of you have heard me talk about this, but I inside of EXP, I want us to have as many exclusive or exclusive like lead gen platforms for EXP Realty agents to give you an unfair advantage in the marketplace. That's why we bought Zoocasa. It's why we're got the partnership with Realty.com. It's why Leo and the Revenos team and Don and all that team is looking at securing listing inventory and other inventory of various leads that are exclusive to EXP. So as you dive in to EXP and you start to learn more about all of the different things, whether it be express offers, Realty.com, or what have you, we and Zenlist, the partnership that we put together with Zenlist, is pretty amazing as well. But you start to look at all these pieces and you start to go, okay, I'm going to add this one piece to my business for the next 3 to 6 months. And I'm just going to work it. And Realty.com really fits that. I mean, I'm big on internet leads and lead gen. In fact, if I got back in the business today, I would probably go right back to the basics of inbound lead generation, and then providing some item of value early in the relationship with the consumer to build that loyalty and that trust. Many of you don't know this about me, but my internet lead conversion, and it was, and one of my sort of I guess claims to fame, was that I was converting about 20% of my buyer-based internet leads to closed transactions. And they're very similar types of leads that Realty.com provides. But my item of value that I did early in the relationship, in fact, was the very first thing that I did. And I'd encourage you to do this whether you're generating them on KV Core, Realty.com, Zillow, Zoocasa, through my link, my lead, whatever that is. I encourage you to try this out as a conversion strategy. A lot of times when your leads come in, they come in requesting information on a specific property. I think that happens all the time on Realty.com, right, Lance?
Yeah. Yep. All the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So when somebody requests info on on an individual piece of property, if you look at virtually every coaching playbook out there, and I think you've even mentioned it as well, they talk about this whole idea of speed to lead, pick up the phone, etc. And by the way, I agree with that. But for me, I always said, what's the one thing that's hard to do if I'm a busy, productive agent? Is to pick up the phone. But what I could do is I could immediately email that client back or text them back or communicate with them in some way, share with them that I'm going to actually go and preview the property in person on their behalf in the next few hours. And I will take some additional photos and some additional notes on that property from a buyer's perspective. And then I will call you back, send that to you, and then I then find out where that matches up with your needs as a potential buyer. And that built so much goodwill that literally agents or consumers would basically bail from anybody else that they were talking to about real estate because you would actually went out of your way to do something of value. If you don't have a consumer sitting in your car, you still have your phone, you still have your camera, you still have the ability to take notes. You've got the ability to basically build a whole profile on this property from a buyer's perspective and send that back to the consumer. And so I would encourage you to try that, give it a shot, do it on 10 leads, 10 people that you meet. The next 10 people that you meet, whether it be on Realty.com or wherever, the next 10 people that you meet that have requested information on a property, preview the property on their behalf, and then follow up with the really in-depth conversation because you'll now have a bond with them that is really tough to do just over the phone. Anyway, that's just my little tip of the day, but I would highly encourage you to do that, especially if you want to take your internet lead conversion dramatically higher than where it's at. The average internet lead converts, and part of this is because there's really bad follow-up going on in the industry, but the average internet lead only closes around 2% of the time. So I was closing 20%, 10 times the industry average. But we do know from watching lots of agents in the field, just following up diligently will take your closing percentage between 5 and 9% if you just diligently follow up. Now, I'm thinking about a more normal market. Right now, it's going to be a little bit longer to get people through the funnel, et cetera. But if they're searching, then they're actually indicating interest regardless of what's going on with interest rates. When they come in as a lead, they're saying, in essence, I'm okay with where interest rates are if I can find the right property for me and my family or whoever they're shopping on behalf of. And that's one of the things that you'll find when there's that intent to purchase is automatic when they request information on a particular property. Doesn't mean they're going to buy that property. In fact, 9 times out of 10, they don't actually buy that property. They buy something else. But what it does is it allows you to establish a relationship with them, show your value in that relationship early on. And then when it does come time for them to close and turn it into to actually purchase a property, you're their trusted agent.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then one of the other great things is that the way we price our product, Len, is at 1% conversion. to the commit that we give you when you sign up, you're paying your bills. At 2%, you're doing great. At 3%, you're like, wow, I'm really getting an ROI. We have some agents closing at 5% to the original commit. That's when they really, really kill it with us. So at a 1% conversion after 6 to 12 months, as you're ramping, you're paying your bills. And that's just the bare minimum. As we're coaching you, we're training you, we're making calls on your behalf. So, and we really keep that in mind.
Yeah, you've made a bigger investment in agent success than pretty much anybody in the industry, especially at this stage of your life cycle. You're fairly Realty.com is still fairly new. It's building the nationwide platform, but you were fortunate enough to have a very healthy financial exit of a company a number of years ago. You've got a business partner in Realty.com that had, I think, maybe even had a healthier exit. And you
Yeah.
guys have been investing in this thing as a long-term build out of something quite special. This is you're in a unique position in that you are closely held. You've got a small group of shareholders, maybe only a couple few. I don't know what the exact cap table
Yeah.
mix is. Two, and both of you are uh, financially well off enough um, to continue to just invest, 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 and make this the best platform for real estate agents over time. Very unique in the way your ecosystem, and that's I think one of the reasons why you invest so heavily in coaching. That's why you built an ISA department. That's why you do the warm handoffs. You do a lot of things that nobody else really does in the industry, and you're doing it uh, from at your expense in benefit of the agents on the other side. So I want to just mention that and honor that because that's a big
Thank
deal when you think about what you're potentially going to sign up for as an agent. And I know that you're extremely fair, probably overly fair with the agents if they're struggling or they're having challenges with the platform. Not to say you let them out of their contracts per se, but I know that in certain circumstances, you've said, "Hey, this really isn't the right fit for you," and here let's do this instead, and you help people sort of land where they need to land as agents because you care as much about the agent as you do as what you're building on the platform itself.
Yeah, we know not everyone's going to be a great fit. And, but if you're trying, we'll do everything we can to help you win. And if you're putting in the effort, you're picking up the phone, you're making phone calls, you're sending emails, you're doing everything our coaches tell you to do. And it's just, you're not a great fit. We work with you in certain scenarios. So, and then, even
Uh,
this week, a lot of people have asked, what do you have? What specials do you have for Cyber Monday, Black Friday? And usually, because we give the EXP discounts so great, we don't really do specials, but we've been doing half off the first month all this week for all EXP agents.
Awesome. I see you've got in the video underneath, you've got realty.com/exp. And
Correct.
and that's actually the sign up code for you to use as an agent to get the special pricing, to get, I guess, the Cyber Monday
Yep.
half off first month. Um, and so I would highly encourage agents that are interested. Now, there are some markets you can't get leads with on Realtor.com, but that's where listing.com comes in.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So with listing.com, we have pretty much availability in the entire country. It's similar, very similar structure to realty.ca, where it's a non-display product, but it's all the same services, the same coaching, the same type of lead gen, the same everything. You just don't get displayed like realty.com.
Right. And but you can say that you're a Realty.com affiliated agent
Correct.
with EXP or a listing.com affiliated agent with EXP when you do your follow-up, and you've got all the obviously the disclaimers and everything else, so agents can call from EXP. We're not violating any do not call lists or any of that because of the terms of service on these platforms, correct?
Correct. Yes. So, and then,
Awesome.
additionally, we're going to have profile pages for all the EXP agents out there. And kind of how it works right now, how Realty set up is if a customer starts their search in Orlando, but then they end up landing in Houston, as long as they registered while they were in Orlando, that's still the Orlando's agent's lead, so they can refer out. So it's similar to all our city pages. All the profile pages for the agents will be a very similar structure.
Awesome. Well, this is really, one of the things. Obviously, we just finished Thanksgiving. Hopefully, everybody had a great Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Um, and this tends to be a slower time of the year. However, what I've found is that a lot of times when people search in the holiday season, they're actually looking to make a trip and actually purchase something. Just is something that I found, but it also builds your database up. One thing you don't want to do is start doing Realty.com leads, in my opinion. Um, Start doing it in March because it's the selling season. It's not a bad time to do it. Don't get me wrong, but you want to build up your database so when you hit the selling season, which I consider March 1st to be the beginning of the selling season. That's just me. And different parts, Florida is probably different than where I'm at, where there could be snow on the ground in February. But once March kicks in, and then we get closer to the summer, when there's a lot of moves going on for schools and everything else, you want to have your database in place so that you know who you're meeting with this weekend, who you're going to meet with this week, what are the properties they're interested in, and start to be able to put together, your offers on your client's behalf, as quickly into the selling season as possible. And between now and the end of February, I always think about that. We're at a third or half the volume of what we would be in May, June, July timeframe. So we're about 50% of the volume, but it's a great time to be building relationships, going out and doing that pre-work. And if you do these things, if you do the pre-work, people will fly in from out of town. A lot of people that use online services to actually search for properties from out of area. And so there are a big portion of those people that sort of do that. Now, I don't know what your mix is of local versus out of area, but I find personally, I love the out of area buyer who needs to move or wants to have a place of their own, because there's some motivation in it. So I always I refer to all my local buyers, and I love working with out of area buyers just because I learned that nuance, at least in my market, that if they're moving, they're motivated, and if they're motivated, then you're going to spend 2 or 3 maybe 2 or 3 weekends with them potentially on their and actually write an offer. And so you have to look at the time spent per offer. It's actually fairly short with the out of area buyer because they're so intent on making something happen. Your local buyer still could be very motivated for other reasons. Maybe they need to sell. And the nice thing about it is you're working with somebody who's a local buyer. A lot of times they actually have a listing to sell as well. And even when you're working with an out of area buyer, they may have a listing to sell back home, and there's a referral opportunity that comes from that. So there's a lot of ways to sort of monetize these leads as you work them. There's also relocation opportunities. Working with your local chambers of commerce and other entities, figuring out how do you build some sort of really robust relocation package. And by the way, I used to give relocation packages not just to my out of area buyers, but I've actually given my local buyers again as an item of value. I basically want to sort of play with this idea that it's my job to increase my value in the mind of my consumer until they basically have to buy from me, because it would be sort of almost disrespectful to not use me. So, building a nice relocation package, including a little Starbucks card or a bag of popcorn while they're looking at listings, just anything that you can put in their hands, especially at a distance. Physical is memorable in a virtual world, and so if you can do things that are sort of physical in nature, whether it be the virtual tour of a property, even though it's virtual, they can see that it took effort and that you actually invested in the relationship. So anyway, the bottom line is, if you're interested in building another segment to your real estate business and you're interested in inbound lead gen, which is a really powerful place to sort of build your business. And you're coachable, and you'll be accountable to the leads that come in. If you're not accountable to the leads, don't sign up for this or anything. But you need to own the fact that these are truly interested people. They're looking to potentially invest in real estate, and you will get crappy leads in this mix. And they may be the first leads that come in, by the way. But I would say calculate your paycheck at the end of the year, not at the end of the month. Because if you invest in your business and you invest in this way of building your business, and you're kind of nerdy and introverted like me, then this can be a great way to sort of build another stream of income that you can scale over time, and then take your learnings and then scale it even further into things you're doing with KV Core and other places. So this is just a great ecosystem to be in. And Lance, I want to just thank you again for your partnership, the pricing, realty.com/EXP, jump in there, sign up, make sure you've got, a 6-month budget or more that you can invest before you fundamentally start to see your ROI. So, if it's $600 a month, then, make sure that you've got at least, 3,600 and, maybe a little bit more. But that 6-month runway that you can commit before you start to see it. But if you do the things that I'm suggesting, and you do the things that Realty.com's coaching suggesting, you'll have closings well before that 6-month mark. But if you're just approaching it fairly low intensity, but still following up, like that's key, follow up. You'll start to see an ROI, but it'll be further out in the funnel. But if you go, I'm going to be a master at internet lead conversion, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that my client knows that I love them and I care for them, and I'm going to help them buy the American dream or the Canadian dream or whatever, then they will latch onto you, and you'll get closings out of this.
Yeah. One of the best things I could say, and every call I do with a prospective client, I give them these numbers. If you're going to buy leads from me or anyone else in the industry, if you live by these numbers, that you're going to win. If you get 100 leads from any digital lead source other than Zillow, usually, you got to say 60 of them are complete looky-loos. They're kicking tires. They're just looking around. 30 of them are probably 2 years out. And out of those, and then 10 of them are good. But you got to make 100 calls to find those 10. And sometimes you got to call those 100 people, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Out of those 10, you hope to sell 1 to 5 of those deals.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, Lance, thank you for jumping on. Hopefully, agents are going to jump on this. I know we did a post back, and we had 1,600 people. I think it blew up your inbound lines, and it took you almost over a month just to clear out all the people who are looking to sign up for Realty.com. So I expect that there'll be a few more folks that will want to sign up and give it a shot. If you don't. One, I want to make sure that agents don't waste their time signing up if they're not going to work the leads diligently and have a long-term commitment to this process. Because if you sign up and you get a bunch of leads in and then you don't follow up, or the follow-up that you do is weak, then it's probably not a good fit for you. But if you know that you can create a great impression and you can keep the small promises that you make to the clients that you're talking to, then you will eventually get the big deals. That's my whole thing in this business is you keep the small promises to make the big deals. And one of the promises when you get a lead is, even it's embedded in the fact that they've requested and you bought this package, is that you will follow up and that you will provide value. And then the next thing is to continue to provide value until they either buy or die, and or tell you to go away. And in some cases, that's the case because they maybe change their mode of being relative to real estate. However, if you follow up and you keep your promises, and everybody makes promises those first few phone calls, if you keep those promises, you will do deals.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate just while we've been on this live. Chris Craddock picked up a warm transfer. Stephen Kelly McCarthy picked up a warm transfer. Donnie Morrow out in Tennessee picked up a warm transfer. So on my other screen, I could see the warm transfers going to EXP agents live right now.
Awesome. Well, good stuff.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully this has been beneficial. Whether it be signing up or just learning a little bit more about internet lead conversion, our partnership with Realty.com, our partnerships across the board, and super excited and super stoked. Hope everybody had a great holiday season so far, and obviously we got a few more holidays before the end of the year yet to be had. So thanks everyone. Thanks, Lance.
Thank you. Realty.com/EXP. Thank you.